Sawadee krap tukon. Welcome to Chiang Mai, Thailand.
สวัสดีเจ้า Hi guys, it's very nice to see you again here in this video. We are going to talk about two interesting things here in this video. First, we are going to tell you how to find a nice Thai woman and how to be in a real relationship.
And number two, we're going to talk about kind of the opposite. We're going to talk about how I shouldn't say not a nice Thai woman, but what we technically call here in Thailand a freelancer, which freelancer is a polite word for professional woman. So a lot of people don't know it, but it's very common and very doable here in Thailand to basically hire a holiday girlfriend. I mean, for a weekend, for 2 weeks, whatever, you hire her to be your girlfriend and do all the things that a girlfriend does. So some people think like, well, this doesn't sound like your channel.
Not.
We're pretty much about wholesomeness and good living in Thailand, but we're doing this for like really one simple reason. Number one, we do want you guys to have a good time when you come to Thailand and be safe, but more important than that, it really bothers us that there's a certain percentage of Western guys, they come to Thailand, they want to meet a woman, have a great adventure, but they don't go about it the right way. They meet a woman online, they pretend they want a relationship, they act like that, they come here, they start a relationship, and then they just disappear on that poor woman. So we want you to know you don't have to do that to have an adventure here in Thailand. In fact, there's a better way to do it that's ideal for you, that will get you exactly what you want, your paid holiday girlfriend, without misleading anybody. So stick around, we're gonna cover step by step how to do both these things. Meet a really nice woman or have a really big adventure. Stick around. All right, so the question is, do you want a nice girl or do you want a freelancer? Or maybe you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to start with a freelancer and then I'm going to find a nice girl.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Do you find that philosophy offensive?
No.
All right, so let's talk about meeting a nice girl, a nice woman in Thailand. So the first question is, there's different strategies for whether you're out of Thailand or you're in Thailand.
Okay.
And most of you are going to be starting outside of Thailand and maybe later, meeting someone in Thailand. So let's talk about both. Let's start with guys in the West, outside of Thailand, wanting to meet a genuine, kind woman, have a real relationship in Thailand. What's the obvious first thing they're going to be doing?
Okay, the easiest thing to do while you are in your home country is log in to an online dating site. There are two sites that's quite popular in Thailand, Thai Friendly and Thai Cupid.
Yeah, they're both really big and they're really legit. And as you'll find out as we talk, they're actually ideal for both the nice girl and the freelancer. But let's start with really the important thing that a genuine guy can do who's looking for a genuine Thai partner. Again, we're going to talk about different strategies. Right now we're talking about meeting the nice girl. So they're kind of in control of their own destiny to some degree regarding their own profiles.
Okay.
So if I'm a Western guy and I'm creating my Thai Cupid, Thai Friendly profile as a Thai woman looking for a genuine guy, what are you looking for?
I'm going to read the profile of a real guy, a nice guy, and I'm gonna read what he wants and what kind of relationship that he wants, and he written down in his profile. And I'm going to look for his profile, his picture that he show us. The picture must include the place where he lives and his like daily life activities. Not only like the picture that he has, he presented himself in a shirtless, things like that.
Okay, so as far as the pictures go, you want to get a feeling for the real guy.
Yes.
A complete image of what you're saying. And to be really kind of, I mean, we have a phrase in America, kind of wear your heart on your sleeve. Be honest with your, that's kind of poetic, wear your heart on your sleeve. Do you know that one?
I know.
Oh, okay. So you need to have a little bit of that about really kind of taking a risk and bearing your emotions and not just trying to come across as some cool guy. I could never sell that anyway. I've got to go for sincerity. There is no cool guy option. But to really be sincere about what they want and what they're looking for. Okay, so if you're looking for a nice Thai lady, you've got to show that you are that kind of guy as well. Okay, now let's talk about the woman's profile, and this is really when we really need to get into some analysis here. And by the way, sorry about, there's probably a lot of background noise that you're hearing. We're at the Silver Temple in Chiang Mai. It's a very popular, beautiful temple. Tons of tourists walking around and a lot of noise and bells ringing and children playing. They've got a school here, so I'm not sure how much the mic is picking up, but hopefully that's not distracting. So let's talk about the woman's profile. And before we actually talk about the details of it, Joy is going to talk more about that. I want to talk about the region that you're looking for, because when you go on these websites, you can typically say, I want to find someone in Bangkok, in Chiang Mai, in Pattaya, whatever it might be. And I think a mistake that a lot of guys make is they have kind of in their minds like, well, I want to go to Phuket. I want to go to Bangkok, whatever it might be, and then they only look for women in that region. And so there might be the perfect woman for you in a region you're not even looking in. So in my opinion, don't make the mistake of buying a ticket for, you know, Chiang Mai, Phuket, whatever it might be, and then just searching for those regions, and now you've got a much smaller region. Instead, explore all of Thailand and find that ideal woman, and then go visit that region. Because if you're like most people, I mean, you love the idea of going to Thailand, but you may not be set on, it's got to be Samui, it's got to be Phuket, it's got to be Pattaya. You're probably open to that. And even if you meet someone in one of those regions, you can say after a while, hey, let's take a trip. Let's go to Samui.
Yes.
So you could still do that, but you're there with this person that maybe you're starting a relationship with. And let's talk about not only the numbers game of getting to meet more women by searching through all of Thailand. The different regions of Thailand are, would you agree, incredibly different regarding the type of woman that you might meet there. Is that a fair comment?
I think in every places we have both kind of women.
She's very sweet. She's so kind. I'm going to be more blunt, but go ahead with that thought.
But, okay, if you go to Pattaya, you will meet more professional women. If you go to some particular places right there. But if you use your daily life outside that locations, you can meet like normal girls, normal Thai women.
Right.
So.
But so for right now, we're just talking about meeting online. And yes, Joy is completely correct. There's nice women, there's freelance women in every city, but you're going to find statistically that, and I don't mean to be bagging on Pattaya, or some of you pronounce it Pattaya. Very nice people live there, very nice women live there, but there's a disproportionate share of freelancers in Pattaya, and everybody in Thailand knows it. Pattaya is infamous for that. So you'll notice that a lot of the women that fall into the freelancer category, we're going to talk in a minute about how clear it is to find them, are from Pattaya. I mean, it's just a huge difference. And probably the second biggest group behind that would be Bangkok. When you look in like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Samui, Phuket, you're getting a much more balanced view of real everyday Thai women, the school teacher, the bank clerk, the nurse. I mean, just those kind of people, which are kind of what you're really hoping to meet. So, so region is really critical. Okay, this brings us to the ladies' profile. So let me ask you, Joy, So as a Western guy who wants to meet, again, the nice lady is what we're focusing right now, what should he be seeing in that profile to know that he's finding the right kind of person and not a freelancer, that he comes over here and he's getting hit up for money that he wasn't expecting?
My recommendation is try to find a woman or any women that written down her career, what is she working and what does she do for a living in their profile.
Yeah, that tells you so much right there. You know, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher.
And you need to look for any information about her children. If she has children, do you accept that? Are you okay with that? And need to look for any information stating about what kind of relationship that she wants and what kind of person that she's interested in, and what kind of person, what is her personality written down in the profile gonna help you find out the nice Thai women.
Yeah, and her pictures are going to be really telling.
Yes.
It's you might think this is not as obvious as it sounds, but let's say you've got two profiles in front of you, and one of them has a picture, like let's imagine there's a cutout of Joy there, and she's described herself, and you've got the girl right next to her is in the sexy tiny bikini or lingerie. I mean, it's this obvious, posing on a bed. She's usually 20 to 30 years old. I mean, very, very young. And it's all about good time. I mean, using words like, I want to go out and have fun and meet someone to take care of me. I mean, it's right there for you. Maybe some of you guys are thinking, well, wait a minute. I want a really nice Thai girl, but I want the hottie 30-year-old in the bikini. Well, you really can't have it both ways. And I think you guys have to do a really healthy self-analysis in terms of who is legitimately going to be interested in you. So if you are a guy that's 55, 60, 65, 70, whatever it might be, Joy is 44.
Yes.
I always forget if I'm 66 or 67. How old am I?
67.
Okay, I was hoping for 66.
But you look much younger than your
You keep saying that. I'll believe that. See, they're all going to say, no, he looks 67. You just set them up for that line in the comments. Thank you for nothing, honey. So you need to do an honest self-assessment, guys, and not let yourself get talked into thinking like, oh, this is like a really sweet girl. She just happens to be incredibly hot. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I first started going on Thai Friendly, we met on Thai Friendly, and I was only on it for like maybe a week before we met. It wasn't very long. And I really not very experienced with Thai dating, online dating, to be honest. And I was getting these, that's another big thing too. We didn't talk about how if you're sending, requests to ladies or they're sending them to you, nothing wrong with them sending them to you, that's nice. But I was getting these, again, these incredibly, 10 out of 10 supermodel, 25-year-old Thai women in bikinis by the pool. And at first my reaction is kind of like a typical guy, like, oh, all right, look who likes me. But then, 30 seconds later, I'm thinking, who am I kidding? Are they really interested in, some older Westerner, or do they have another agenda? And the other agenda is fine. That's the freelancer. We'll talk about that later. So you can call that woman, but not if you're looking for a really good, sincere, long-term relationship. Be honest with yourself. Is this the kind of woman that really is going to be looking for you? All right, let's talk about specific things that you can do to actually kind of, for lack of a better word, I'll say check out these women that you want to make sure they're legitimate and the kind of woman that you hope that they are. So what would you suggest, Joy?
Oh, you should do a video chat, a video call as soon as possible, so that you can see her real personality and you can check her English competency, whether she can speak English or she use other application to talk to you in English, or does she use any other means like Google Translate to communicate with you.
Yeah, a lot of them, I shouldn't say a lot, but certainly some of them are communicating with you in text, in emails, whatever it might be, and they're using an app. So you think they speak good English. And I'm not criticizing a Thai woman that doesn't speak English. I mean, most of us speak no or little Thai when you're first coming over here. But to have a real relationship, you need to have some level of communication.
Yes.
So doing a video chat will be the best way to judge that. And what's the other benefits to doing a video chat?
Oh, you can see her real face, her real personality. Sometimes, not sometimes, many times women use application to make her skin look even and smooth, has like a smaller face or red lips or bigger eyes. So use application to take pictures and post online to look better than like she is in real life. So if you do a video chat, you can see her real body, real face without any filter or without any program.
And we would recommend doing as many video chats as you can. Your whole goal is to get to know her as a person. So you don't just do 5 video chats and run off to Thailand. I mean, it might be a month or 2, and you might be doing this every day, so you really get to know each other. And make sure you ask about her expectations in terms of what she's looking for in a relationship, so that you know. If you can, some of these apps have, like the dating apps we're talking about, Thai Friendly, Thai Cupid, they've got their own communication apps, but try and get off of those if you can. Try and get her line ID or her WhatsApp. If you don't know what those are apps that are very popular in Thailand. Line is not very big in the US. I don't know about Europe. WhatsApp we have, but those might be new apps to get. But one of the reasons to get them is that there's a fair chance it might have her full name on there. And once you get that full name, you can plug it into Facebook and Instagram. You might be seeing a different side of her than you're being given. Another strategy to get her full name is to let her know you want to mail her a little gift, and you should actually mail her a little gift. It might just be a sweet card or a nice little not too expensive necklace or something, but tell her you want to mail it to her, so you're going to get her name and her address, and that's another way to look it up. So these might sound like slightly manipulative things, but I'm assuming that you're a legit, honest guy, and you're trying to make sure that she's a legit, honest woman.
That's a good way to get some information about the one who you are going to have a relationship with. Nothing.
Yeah, and the last thing that we'll mention before we move on to the part you guys actually want to talk about, which is how to get a freelance. Even if you want a nice girl, you still want to hear about getting a freelancer, because it's kind of an interesting topic. So we did a video a while back called Dating Thai. So we recommend you watch it. It talks more about why relationships succeed, why relationships fail. So we're not going to go into that all right now. So check that out, and it gives you some clues in terms of once you do find this good woman, how to build on that and make sure it's right. And the last thing that I'll talk about is we talked about finding a woman from outside of Thailand. So once you're in Thailand, maybe that first contact didn't work out. That was just kind of your introduction to Thailand, and you said your friendly goodbye. Once you're in Thailand, and again we're talking about meeting the nice woman, don't be the Westerner that spends all day going to bars and soapy massages and karaoke bars and just all that kind of stuff to meet that type of woman. That's fine if that's what you want, but it's really hard to meet the nice woman there. You meet nice Thai women in the same kind of places you'd meet them in America. I mean, you're going to meet her when you go to the hospital and she's a nurse, or you go to the bank and she's a teller, or you go to a restaurant and she's a waitress, or you go to the mall and she's a clerk, or you go to the grocery store and she's pushing a cart. I mean, you meet everyday Thai women. The real limiting factor for you is most of these women will not speak English. So unless you speak Thai, that does shrink your pool down a lot. So that's motivation to learn Thai. All right, so stick around for the second part of this video on freelancers. All right, it's time to talk about freelancers. And admit it, that's all you came for. Actually, even if you're interested in meeting a nice woman, you're probably really interested in how kind of the freelancer holiday girlfriend things works, because it is kind of fascinating. And I'm by myself for this shoot. Not that Joy's not here. We're actually out on a nice little picnic here at CMU. But Joy is like a lot of Thai women, that she's actually not that enthralled with the subject of Thai freelancers and the sex industry. In fact, most women in Thailand, your average Thai woman, is pretty unhappy with the reputation Thailand has with the sex industry. So I'm on my own for this one. So before I get into the details of hiring a Thai freelancer and really talking about the whole sex industry in Thailand, I want to make clear to you guys, because unless you've been to Thailand, and maybe you've even been to Thailand but not really been in the, I'll call it the adult districts, you've got no idea how wide open it is. I mean, myself from America's a country where when Janet Jackson flapped a nipple for a split second on the Super Bowl, the whole country shut down. I mean, Thailand has a much more sensible view of adult-themed things. And in Thailand, it's just so wide open. I mean, John Smith, vice president banker in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, I'm talking to you, the guy with 2 kids and a wife, and you're a deacon at your church. When you come to Thailand and your lifelong fantasy is being with a ladyboy for a weekend, you know what? Nobody cares. Nobody blinks an eye. It's just a wide open industry that you can't imagine until you're here. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about it. Oh, and one last thing. I do want to remind you guys why we're having this subject. I'm really not interested in being the guy that tells you how to hire a freelancer and get your best deal and all that kind of stuff. Joy and I are doing this video because we really are concerned over the fact that a lot of guys come to Thailand and they kind of misrepresent themselves to a really nice woman on a dating site. You know, they want to come and have a sexual adventure for 2 weeks, and so they say, hey, I'm going to come back, I'm going to send for you, stuff like that. And they break the heart of a very nice, sincere Thai woman. And a lot of guys seem to think that that's the only way to kind of get that adventure for a week or 2 in Thailand. And the purpose of this video is to show you that you don't have to. In fact, you'll actually have a better time if you go the freelancer route, and you'll see why when we get to the end of this discussion. Joy and I are on a mission to protect the women of Thailand from men that have insincere desires. So let's start off by approaching this like we did meeting a nice Thai woman. We started off talking about if you're outside of Thailand, what do you do if you want to set up something when you arrive in Thailand? And this maybe isn't the best way to do it, but let's say that's what you're interested in. So you're going to start with the same things you do in terms of normal dating, and that is with dating websites. The 2 main ones where you're going to find people are the ones that are just focused on Thai women. That's Thai Friendly and Thai Cupid. There's also Badoo and Bumble. Those are fairly big. Tinder, of course. There's a lot of them, but these are going to be the main ones. So when you go on these websites and you're looking for a freelancer, whether it's for a one-night situation or you want to spend a week or 2 weeks and have the holiday girlfriend experience, it's really going to be obvious to you when you go on these dating sites which women are looking for that kind of a situation. Their pictures are going to show them in scanty little clothing, bikinis, nightgowns. They're quite often posed by a pool or in bed. The messages are very clear that they're looking for a good time and someone to take care of them. And you want your profile to be just as clear. You don't want to be misleading anybody. You want what you want. So you want to say that you're coming to Thailand for a really good time and have a nice, wide open experience. And you're looking for a woman that shares those same interests. And you want to make sure that she's happy and taken care of as well. So you can be fairly clear without spelling it out. So you can be approaching women that you're attracted to. You're going to get a lot of women approaching you. Now, one of the decisions you're going to have to make is, are you going to just look at women in the region where you'd like to go? Let's say you want to spend a week in Phuket. Well, obviously, it's going to be most convenient if you just look for women in Phuket, but that's really going to be limiting you. So you might want to be considering women in Pattaya Bangkok, and those are the two main regions where there's going to be the most women available. And you're going to find more women, more attractive women that you might want to consider, because you can always go to those cities, meet them, and then with them fly to another location to spend a week or two. Or you can even arrange for them to meet you there if you want to be upfronting the money. Now, I know that you guys all want to know, well, what does this stuff cost and so on. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to be super specific, in fact, but I want to finish up kind of setting up the way to meet these women so you can choose the best one for you. And when we talk about online dating, you can also be doing that, obviously, when you're in country. It's not just something to be doing when you're out of country. But let's say that you're now in country. Either you chose not to meet someone in advance, or maybe you set up some kind of a date and you had your first meeting and it just didn't work out like you thought it would. So now you're kind of starting from scratch. Another really nice feature that you can use when you're here is the people nearby feature. All the sites have different names for it, but it's going to be something like that. Some of the dating sites have that, like Badoo has that, and some of the social media sites have that, like Tinder has that. Probably the best one is WeChat, because WeChat, that's like WhatsApp, is a very popular Asian app. I won't go through the details on how you set up each one to find the people nearby setting, but it's typically turning it off the global setting, and then there's a geolocator, and you can choose, do you want people within 100 meters, 50 meters, whatever it might be, and you can find people close by. And that's a great way to find freelancers out there that are out working the evening and looking to meet somebody. Now, I haven't even mentioned the kind of places that people initially think about, and probably one of the main ways that people meet women is bars, go-go bars, gentlemen clubs, things like that. So let's talk about some specifics in doing that. If you've never been to a bar in Thailand, and I'm talking about the kind of bar where you go to meet a woman, and these are primarily in the adult regions. And on that subject, if you're in Bangkok, there's three main ones. Probably the best one is Nana Plaza. Soy Cowboy would be number 2. Pat Pong is very popular, but it's probably third on the list and the one you should least likely be going to, just because it's so overly touristed. It's going to cost you more to get the same thing. So let's talk first about going in a bar, and I'm talking about a bar in the adult district where the whole point is to meet a woman, and that's why they're there, is to meet guys like you. You go in, you sit down, you buy a beer or something, it's 80 baht, 100 baht, and you see a woman that you like and you buy her a drink. But you sit down, and in terms of etiquette, if a woman sits down next to you and you're really not interested in that particular woman, you don't need to be rude. You can just politely say, you know what, I'm just having a drink, I don't want any company right now. And typically they're going to respect that. If you see a woman across the way and you really want to get her attention, and maybe she's with someone else or something like that at the moment, you can also go up to the bartender, or there might be like a mama-san type person, and you can express your interest in meeting a particular person across the room, and they'll get word to her. And if she's available, she'll come over and sit down with you. That's also a good time to ask them what the bar fine is, which I'll get to in just a second. So a woman sits down with you, you like her, you buy her some drinks. Her drinks are typically going to be 150 to 200 baht, and that varies based upon where you're at and different things like that. Go-go bars are always going to be a little bit more expensive. And don't get caught up in that whole thing. I see people online talking about, well, it's a ripoff because there's not even any alcohol in her drink. Well, what do you care? You're missing the point entirely. I mean, you're paying for her time to sit next to you or sit on your lap and talk and have a little flirtatious conversation. Sometimes they'll bring out like little games, like what do they call that game where you pull the little pieces of wood out and you keep it from falling. They got little games like that. So it's, a lot of guys love these bars because it's a very casual environment. I don't want to bag on bar girls and make them sound like bad people, because they're not. They're just women working for a living, quite often from very difficult circumstances. And this is how they make their living, and they make actually a very good living. Don't think that they're starving. But quite often they're really funny people. They've got a great sense of humor. One advantage to going out with a woman in a bar or in a go-go club, and this may sound kind of absurd, but is they speak English. Most Thai women either speak very little English or no English, and kind of hard to have much of a conversation with someone when they don't speak any English. So this is probably the key reason, actually, besides availability, why guys kind of get connected with women in bars and go-go bars and gentlemen clubs and things like that, just because of the obvious language issue. So you have a drink or two with her and you decide, okay, I like this lady. You basically just ask her if she is bar fineable. I mean, not every woman there has a bar fine. And a bar fine is basically where, she's working for the bar, she's making them money. So if you want to take her out of the bar to go on a date or bring her to your room or whatever it might be that you have planned, the bar fine is going to vary, and you've got to pay this to the bar so that she can leave. If this particular woman is the superstar of the bar, I mean, just the knockout gorgeous woman that everybody wants, her bar fine might be more. So you simply say that you would like to pay her bar fine and have her leave with you. But here's a little bit of advice. Don't just find someone that you find attractive, pay the bar fine, and then leave the bar, and then start your negotiation in terms of what you're doing and for how long. In Thailand, they have really kind of three kind of different categories that your relationship might fall into. One would be what they call short time, which is where you're taking her away for, hour and a half, 2 hours, and then she returns to the bar. Long time is when she spends the rest of the evening, spends the night with you, and then leaves in the morning. And there's also holiday girlfriends, which is extending beyond one night into multiple days or a week or 2 weeks. So the smart thing to do is don't pay the bar fine and then start your negotiation all over and find out maybe you really couldn't reach an agreement. So you can be very specific in that situation and say, this is what I'm looking for. You reach an agreement regarding price. Not to be too blunt, but you should talk about exactly what you have in mind, because you don't want to get there and find out your favorite activity is not something that she particularly likes to do or is willing to do. So you just negotiate it very, very clearly. Not every woman in every bar is going to go out with every guy. And there's some women that don't do bar fines at all. They're just making their income from the lady drinks. And that's how they make their income, by the way, is they typically get about 50% of whatever they make from those lady drinks. So you're going to find different kind of women in these bars. Some are going to be constantly pumping you to buy me a drink, buy me a drink. Very little conversation and fun time in between. Don't get sucked into that. I mean, you should be having a nice conversation that's spread out over a period of time before you move on to drink number 2. So if you're feeling pressured, just go to another bar. Don't feel like you need to stay there. Now, if you're wondering, okay, now I've got this lady, where do we go? Well, some guys go back to their hotel. Again, in Thailand, people don't really blink an eye at someone bringing back an obvious professional woman. Sometimes some of these places actually have rooms on the premises. If they don't, then the lady herself is going to be knowing about particular places, basically hotels by the hour, which is going to cost a few hundred baht. So how much do these women cost? And right now we're just talking about short term in terms of either, long time, short time. We're not talking about the holiday girlfriend situation yet. And I'm going to get to that second, because really the single experience with her should precede setting up an arrangement for like a week or 2 weeks together. So actual numbers to have a bar girl go home with you and have your sexual activities for short time. And again, this varies so much based upon the city that you're in. Pattaya, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, they're all going to have vastly different rates. And the woman that you're getting, I mean, there's a big difference between a woman and it's so rude to talk about this numerical scale of, oh, she's a 10 and she's a 5. I'm sure that they use a similar scale talking about us guys, but there's going to be a different fee between someone who's a knockout gorgeous woman and can get basically anything that she wants, and a woman who's more desperate for income, although even they seem to stay quite busy. So for a short time, your average rate based upon the city is going to range from roughly 800 baht to about 2,000 baht. I would say the middle is about 1,000 to 1,200 baht. And again, big variation on the woman that you're with and the city that you're in. Long time, you can basically, almost double that. Not quite double it, but that's typically what you're looking at. If you're in a go-go bar, so far we've been talking about traditional adult district bars. If you're in a go-go bar, the women tend to be a little bit more expensive. Most guys don't really like the go-go bar experience as much because it's really loud. It's really noisy. It's not like a bar where there's kind of relaxed conversation. Like I say, you're playing little table games sometimes. You're having different women maybe come to sit with you. In a go-go bar, it's very, very loud. Gentlemen clubs, kind of the same thing, but it's a more private, relaxed atmosphere. So the reason I started off talking about the short time, long time, single situation, instead of the holiday girlfriend for a week or two, is it's not always really wise to be entering into a negotiation and then buying a ticket and setting up the arrangements with someone for a week or two. And maybe after one encounter with each other, you kind of recognize that's not the person for you, whether it be sexually or whether it be personality-wise, that you just don't want to spend 2 weeks with her. So if you have some time with her, then hey, is this someone I want to make the offer to? Now, if she's a bar girl, you're going to have to pay the bar fine for the remainder of the time that she's on contract with the bar, and most of them have about a 10-day or 2-week contract with an individual bar. So if you find out that her contract is expiring in 2 days, well, you would owe that bar 2 days basically of a bar fine. If it's going to be longer, then you're going to be paying longer. But we've only talked about the go-go bar, bar girl type thing. What about the pure freelancer? That's the woman that you're meeting on a dating site or through a social app. In a way, you're saving money there because there is no bar fine that you're paying. You're just negotiating directly with her. And there's a lot more freelancers out there that you're going to meet in that way than you are through organized institutions like a bar or a go-go club. There is one element of safety in meeting a woman at a go-go bar or a club, in that if you don't, bring somebody home and something goes wrong, like you wake up and your wallet's gone, well, that woman knows that you know where she works. So it's much less likely there's going to be a problem like that. And she doesn't want problems. She doesn't want people complaining about her at work. So that's an advantage you have to meeting someone at a bar or a go-go club. With a freelancer, you've got probably no idea where to ever find her. And I don't want to really make it sound like guys are getting ripped off a lot, because from what I hear, they're really not. Most of these Thai professional women are not interested in doing something like that. You're going to be increasing the chances that it happens to you is if you're falling down drunk and you're a really rude guy and she thinks, okay, I deserve to take this guy's money while he's asleep, and you probably do deserve it. So don't get fallen down drunk. You won't enjoy yourself as much anyway. Now, these aren't the only ways to meet somebody. When you come to Thailand, you'll see there are all kinds of opportunities to meet women just in everyday situations. There's kind of an adult industry that extends way beyond the borders of the adult entertainment districts. You're going to find certain massage places, happy massage, soapy massage, those kind of things, where those women are providing sexual services right there on the premises, at least limited sexual services. And quite often they're available for work outside of that. Sometimes they do alcohol services and it's arranged through the place that they're working at, and sometimes it might be direct. I'll tell you a story, and Joy's here right next to me, and I've never told her this story. Sorry, honey. I hope you... This was like 5 years before I met you, okay? So I've never told you this story. And again, it was 5 years before I ever met you. Fair enough? Okay, and this wasn't even worth mentioning. It's why I've never mentioned it. So I mean, these are the kind of situations that come upon you in Thailand. So I was here on just a visit. Didn't know me. My daughter lives here, and I was wandering around by myself. Hot day, and I thought, man, I'm looking for some place air conditioned. I wanted a massage, and I went into a place. And this is Chiang Mai, and Chiang Mai is pretty conservative. I mean, it's not like Bangkok and Pattaya where there's all these adult-themed massage places. I mean, almost all of our massage places are legitimate. You just get a really good massage. So I thought I was going into one. There was no clue like super high prices. I mean, typically if it's a happy ending massage, the price is like 3 times a normal massage. So I went in there, looked like a very normal place. And the masseuse that I got was, I mean, absolutely beautiful. Not as beautiful as you, honey, but she was beautiful. And so I'm getting my massage, and usually when you get a massage in Thailand, I mean, you've got the relaxing music going. It's very quiet. And she was like kind of a chatterbox. I mean, she was talking and telling me her name and her history with her boyfriend, and he cheated on her, and now she's all alone, and asking me all these questions. I mean, I'm a little bit more experienced now. I kind of now know what was going on. But how long are you here for? Have you been here before? These are very common questions you'll get like in a bar is, how long have you been in Thailand? Are you here on a vacation? Because if you're a vacationer and you're a newbie, they kind of know they're likely to get more out of you and can name a higher price. Anyway, so I'm just there for a normal massage. And I'm getting my massage, and I'm actually feeling very flattered because there's just this beautiful woman. She told me she was 32. I'm feeling quite flattered that this woman is giving me a massage and really engaging in a very charming way. I mean, we all like a woman to look at you in a certain way, and she was giving me that. It made me very happy. And so we're going through the massage, and I'm wearing the traditional clothing that they give you. And she says, would you like a naked massage? And I said, no, I'm comfortable keeping my clothes on. And she said, no. She said, I mean me. Would you like me to take off my clothes while I give you a massage? And then she said, that'll be an extra 500 baht. Anyway, we don't need to discuss what I said because it's not the point of the story. And again, this was 5 years ago. But my point is that those opportunities just exist all the time. So if you're in a place like that, and you want to be making an offer, and then that one-time situation can now grow into, would you like to spend a week or 2 weeks with me? And these are all ways that you can be doing it. So how much does that cost? Again, it's going to vary tremendously. Now, there's going to be some situations, where probably the word freelancer really isn't applicable. Because there's going to be some women that, I mean, maybe they're kind of close to your age range. I mean, maybe you're a fantastic looking guy and she's a great looking woman and she just likes spending time with you. But you're kind of a good equal match. Well, she might be very happy to not be offered any money to go spend a week in a nice resort. Just the fact that she's getting a free week and free airfare in a nice resort and all of her meals are covered, and you might be buying her a couple dresses or something. Hey, she's really happy with that. And I wouldn't really put that in like a freelancer category. But other women, understandably, especially if there's a huge age difference or you're seeking someone that's, outside your normal level. You're a 5 and she's a 10. You know what I mean? Well, then the commodity to equalize things is money. That's just the way that it is. So how much do long-term freelancers cost? It can be as little as maybe like 500 baht a day. It can be 2,000 or 3,000, even 4,000 baht a day. Again, it just depends upon the situation. How great is she? What are you offering? What's in your package? Well, that's a bad word. What's in your package? What are you offering compared to what she's offering? So it's the kind of thing you can just bluntly talk about. And I would recommend you pay by the day and not just give her all this money up front. Okay, let's wrap it up just talking about cities a little bit. I don't want to bag on Pattaya, but everyone will agree. And by the way, can you hear all that noise? Like I said before, we're on the CMU campus. And one thing they don't tell you about living in Thailand is that there's a loudspeaker going almost at all times somewhere. And as soon as I started filming, all this came about. So I'm not sure how much you're picking that up. But anyway, Pattaya is the adult-themed paradise of Thailand. So if all you're after is really meeting that kind of woman, Pattaya is the place to go. And they've also got nice beaches. It's not only for that. They got family-themed entertainment as well, but Pattaya is the place to go for that. Right behind that is Bangkok. Once you get outside of those two cities, cities like Phuket and Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, they've all got these kind of districts, but they're going to be much smaller. All right, guys, we talked about how to meet these women, what prices are, kind of different options that you've got. The big advantage to hiring a professional woman over kind of misleading a normal Thai woman. Number one is it's the right thing to do, not to mislead somebody. But your average Thai woman's not going to speak English that well. The freelancer typically will. And if you want to think about what a great deal this is, really, think about if you went to a foreign country and you wanted a guide and a translator to be with you 24 hours a day. Think what that would cost you, how expensive that would be. Well, in Thailand, you get not only that, but she's going to sleep with you as well. And you get all that for less than the price that you would in any other country just to get a translator and a guide. All right, Joy and I are going to wrap up our picnic with a nice walk around the reservoir. If you're going to be visiting Chiang Mai, this is a really nice place to come. You can jog around it or just take a nice walk. There's a really nice cafe there. So maybe we'll see you there because Joy and I are frequent visitors. Until I see you guys again, I wish you a safe trip to Thailand. And as always, happy travels.